Evidently, several people use Audrey Starr as bedtime stories. She does videos Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and like she does. I don't think she does readings. I think she just monetizes her stuff. I don't know. I can't. I look for websites, stuff like that. She's not real accessible to me. Uh, Now I could go to sleep. And 20 people, I dig it. Like attracts like. So, hi, welcome to my tiny tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Hayoke empath. I just like having these little talks just to get things out of my energy field that I think about. I woke up this morning at 3:30 to go see which potential landed in Taos. And I went out. There's about 3 inches on the. Or I looked on my camera, and on the bird feeder there's like 3 inches of snow as my indicator of precipitation. So I went out, put on all my cold weather gear, and went out and shoveled. Because 3 inches of snow is a lot easier to shovel than if I waited until later in the morning and we got more snow than 6 inches. So got up and shoveled snow at 3, and then I tried to go back to sleep. I'm very restless. Very restless. I live right next to power poles, and I'm a high frequency being as it is, so. And they're not like the little power. Well, I have a little power pole like right there, and then there's the big ginormous one, and so I'm just always. So my medicine is I eat flour, not like the breaking bad kind, the green kind, the pretty flowers. The only medicine I can do, I tried to do the colonial medicine. It makes me disassociated. It spreads my mind matter all over, and it makes it harder for me to focus. Like, I just need to make mom something to eat, and I'm thinking past, present, future, it's not conducive to. Anyway, I'm not a grounded person. I try so hard to just be chill and to be happy and joyful. And yet, outside entities like to pew, 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 fuck with me. And my personality is wide open to it. And as hard as I try so hard to ignore things. That doesn't exist. But, however, I don't like the but word. Was it Mrs. Bianchini? Was that the English teacher or Mrs. Atkins? One of those ladies taught me that when people say the word but in a sentence, that everything before when they say la 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 la, but la 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 la, the first law set is bullshit. Everything before the but is ass. Is that I had an English teacher basically, they didn't say that, we were kids, that would be inappropriate. I'm saying that because I'm an adult and I can talk like that. But however, so I consciously I think like I'm like my own grammar police. Careful not to say that. I really am very deliberate in my speech. People are just shocked, like, how dare I say that thing to them? Because I'm an energetic sensitive, and people, I bully bullies. I don't I don't do it. I don't strike first blood. Did you ever see that movie Rambo? I'm like Marge Bow. Don't strike first blood. But when I see things that I think are like misappropriation of funds, or just like if single parents are hungry and going without meals, and kids don't have food because their parents can't pay for lunch at school, but you got tubby little firemen and policemen sitting in $90,000 trucks, just sitting there waiting for their next nothing to do? When crime is like New Mexico, dude, crime is it's worse than Colombia, Mexico in this state. Because and I'll explain to you people why. It's so bad because generationally, for generations, there have been pockets of privilege that have all the access. And they have a mentality that says, these people out there, they don't deserve what I have. That's why there's poverty consciousness, is because there's rich assholes at top that say, there's poor people that don't deserve it. Why do kids have to pay for lunch at school? Why is that a thing? In a state where flower, cannabis, is a billion-dollar company. It's an industry, billions of dollars. Oil is a billion-dollar industry. The tax dividends from stocks and bonds are in the billions. Yet they can't figure out what to do with all that money. They're revamping Epstein's Oro Ranch. They got money for that. They're sealing it up like a tomb. They don't want the outside world to know. How come we haven't charged the walls of that place? I got to listen to a conversation, a one-sided conversation by a man, hey, what's up? By a dude named Jordan Maxwell, and he talks about the club. He talks about, and then other people talk, I talk about them how they're all encompassing, how they're this big dark cloud of fraternal order of butt stuff. You can find them New Year's Eve or New Year's Day in parades in Philadelphia. They call themselves the Gunners. Those men. You can find them in fraternities. You can find them in Freemasons Lodge, you know. You have the less knowing advantage, and then you have the ones that have all the knowing and advantage. Whatever it is, I don't care. You're taken away from people that are more qualified than you. The Vice President of the United States. I thought it was so funny. I woke up, made my morning. Dude in Minnesota with his loudspeaker going, everybody watch your couches, the vice president's in town, watch your couches. Because yeah, there's mentalities of young men that can't control themselves. They're known as a couch fucker. I've known them in real life. I'm related to them. They're all frat boys. They all go in the Army Guard and the reserves, and then they channel up in the ranks, and then they get their own division called ICE, and they get their own division called TSA. And it's all about control and dominance for us because they can't control themselves. Because they're so mad that they wanted so much power that they keep playing in their head that time they got bent over the conference table. And it doesn't matter how tough they are to the whole world. They know in their mind they're a little bitch. They're a little bent over bitch. All of them. CEOs, multimillionaires, quadrillionaires, you know, all these people that have big 503 false idols for profits. Sports fans. Anything that spends more heart space chasing sensation for earthly 3D bullshit than taking care of your own community. I'm all worked up. I'm probably going to go out and shovel the sidewalk. I got to be careful, though, because I overdo it. I'm getting old. I did book a second massage, though. So I've been doing once a month, and for the winter, since I'm cooped up, my feet, I'm having trouble with my feet real bad too. So anyway, I'm ready for these powers. You know, the colonial blood, that heart space of greed doesn't die. It just grows generation after generation after generation. Thanks, Tanya. It just, you know, and my heart is out here trying to fucking circumvent it by giving people fucking stickers and telling people not to be a fucking cocksucker. Even if it's his birthday. that themselves now, or they have robots that can or something, because that's what they're going to do. Population numbers are going to keep going down because, you know, it was funny on the Big Bang Theory. Homeboy had to go get it off his wing at the ER. Almost worked in the ER. I know people work in the ER. They always talk about like the weird stuff and the X-rays of stuff they find out people's butts. So it always just proves my point that America is built on butt stuff. And I'm standing here with mine clenched, man. That's an exit-only system, dude. No. And there's industries. You know what? And you know why it's so funny? Because I have a propensity. My sacral chakra was lit up when I was a 10-month-old baby. That's why they rate babies born on birthdays like me to turn us into hoe bags. I just saw 11/11. That's what happened to Jenna Jameson. We're same birthday, same year. Not one face tattoo. I don't understand what that's about. I don't understand. I like tattoos. I got some. I'm trying to get the lady that did this. Maybe if people go to her tattoo place and just fill up her like go see Marge in Taos, I could get her to come down and give me some more. Because the lady that did this, I called her the other day to get another tattoo and she blew me off. And so I don't ever care to ever let her. And the only reason why she came up with this concept is because I sent her like 5 pictures and gave her adamant extraction. So it's my concept. And it's missing headphones too. So it's incomplete. It's a work in progress. And then I got this one. Got your 6 for Jessica, my sister. Rest in peace, Jess. And then this one, it's because I got that Robin Williams spirit. I am what I am. This is my first. It's like Standing Turtles, me and my higher power is Calvin. Because that was my first. Actually, my first one is my exclamation point and question mark on my thigh here. But it was a jail pin vibrating tattoo gun that Dan, the neighbor, gave me in my living room when I lived on Olive Street by Nova. That's a Tatorian. See, I know how, like, I always knew. I got a Scorpio moon. I have a soul. My soul looks for truth. Like, I go to my grandma's house, and I just always knew that woman was hiding something. So I was forever looking for proof of what she really was. Because she didn't feel good to me, but everybody loved Edith W. Hessick, and she was this dear little blue-haired little woman. And she was so mean, and deliberately wicked. See, that's what I know what evil is because I come from evil, and I have it in me. I just do things to not, like, focus that frequency and draw it on somebody and want to retaliate, because God says, leave people alone. Leave them to their life, you know? And I have this ego in me. And it says, thou shalt learn lessons. Like I had to learn. Like I learned the greatest lessons from strangers on a bus. This lady in K Street Mall in Sacramento. Mom and I were in Sacramento. I think we took the bus down to see brother or something. We were there, and I was getting on the bus, and I didn't talk with my mother with a great deal of respect when I was a child. Because I didn't understand her position in life. Now I do, and I would never, ever consider that. No, I know. She got the key to the city in Atascadero. Like, if you go back and look at the Quota Club, the first colonial tea in Atascadero was put on by my grandmother. No, they're all scumbags, dude. They're all they're characters. They either go to DC and become a character. That's why I always say, Tanya, Washington, D.C. and Hollywood, they're the same thing. They're the same cast of characters. There's always with the crossover. Remember, when I grew up with the crossover when I was a kid, yeah, because and yeah, she was wicked. I'll go into that later, but with the crossover Love Boat and those shows, they always had like the child star, and then they Christy McNichol's on. Don't you see her on Love Boat? Yeah, did you? You know, and now look at her now. She's like 61. She's a shell of a person. I guess I don't know what the storyline. I don't know. It's none of my business. I just saw movies when I was a little girl that little girls shouldn't be in, but other little girls like me got the permission that it's okay for little girls to be with old men because it's right there in the movies. That's fucking gross. This is the shit I speak. Like, leave kids alone. Let kids be kids and not think about chasing sensation and bumping uglies and all that shit until they're like in their 20s. Let them use their little yayas for like creating and could like, because you only have so many good years. Go build a house when you're young that you can live in when you're old. That's what kids should be doing until their 20s, 30. Like, we don't know who we are based on, because we're too busy shoveling out all this shit from what the world told us we should be. Well, thank God I had mom that I had, because mom always knew my birth chart, so she knew that she had guides along the way that said, you cannot contain this girl. She is not one that can be contained. What you can do is teach her to contain herself. Teach her to discipline and calm and teach her emotional control. And I've had to do that my whole life, and I've had discrepancies. I've gotten in trouble for stupid shit. I got a DUI on an Air Force base because walking in a convenience store, and then I told on myself. Stupid shit. Because I'm a clown. I'm a hey, oh, you asked me a question, I'll tell you the truth. Well, I don't really fit in a world where lies are more profitable. Right? I've been saying for years, dude, all this stuff over there is about real estate. It's never about people and caring about people. Because they always reveal themselves. It's always about making a Dubai someplace else. It's always about making, the Jetsons in real life. They're in a race to make the Jetsons in real life. Gotta hurry and get to the world of the Jetsons. George never jumped off. You can't go down off there. I don't want to live so far up there I can't go down off there. I mean, I don't have Earth. So us aliens are reconvening. Us halvesies, us dual-Z bloods, because that's the stuff these are the truths that are going to start coming out, what people really are. And we're going to start, people aren't really actually nationalities from regions on the country, yet regions in the galaxy. And that to get there, all you have to do is tune into a frequency. And this is the way that collective consciousness of sum of all parts is headed. Because that's how I've seen it forever. I just start seeing more people like clocks on the wall starting to see things how I see. And it's really actually kind of tripping me out. Because I've lived in a world for so long all by myself. And now I'm starting to hear people that sound like me. And that's weird. They still don't pay any attention to me. Like, how many times, I think 3 times this week I talked about, I heard about how science and spirituality are merging. And in case somebody's here that might be new, I'm just going to go ahead and read my page description right now that I wrote. Where is it? Videos. So I got to go play one of my videos. And then I want to hear the video, but I can go down to more. Where's the read description? Oh, wait. live. There's Cozy Dozy from yesterday. More. Okay, so I wrote this September, or this was like the 17th of March. I have it, the original. I did a screenshot. I do that a lot. Like yesterday, I did a screenshot before my of my old profile picture, and then I did a screenshot as it propagated across the system, because it came through on first place I saw the new picture was Molly McCord's comment, and then I saw it like when I was in a chat, it came up. And then, but actually the last thing that came across was my actual logo. So I wrote this 9 years ago. Page aim, raise your vibration. Same dot or question mark and exclamation point with the same dot equals love to me. Because that's what it feels like. Like it feels like electricity. Like that's love to me. Anyway, I believe spectrometers are part of the human race, slow to a stroll, to create things to raise the vibrations of others. Scientists to make life simpler so that the plastics can complicate it. The colonist plastics, the without pigment. The absence of all colors, no soul, no souls. Scientists to make life simpler so that the plastics can complicate it. Artists to mix emotions like paint on a palette. Musicians to concoct harmonies that play my pineal gland like a harp and a cathedral organ that blows bubbles. Those that do not have much to say, they haven't found their audience yet. So, I need to take my address off there. I have to edit that, take my address off there. I don't need it there. I don't need any good karma. We're seeping with good karma, huh, Mom? Because we're warm and cozy? Cozy dozy? I shoveled off all the snow off the roof earlier, too. So I went out at 3, shoveled a pathway for Luna, got it all out of the way, and then when I got up and fed her and let her out, I shoveled more, and then did the roof, and now I think I'm ready to just sit and watch the last episode of High Potential, as I made the best pancakes yesterday. There's one left. And then watch the story unfold, because I just think it's funny. Like, this is only the second time. We got we got maybe 4 or 5 inches. We got more, I think, the first time it snowed a few weeks back, and all that snow is just it was almost gone. All of it was just almost completely gone. You know, but we didn't get any, like, big old 8-9 day notice that we were going to get 4 inches of snow last time, but this time, man, they just build things up. They have nothing better to do than get people to freak out about stuff, you know, and that should just always be a reminder of how prepared are people at all times. At all times, how prepared are people. So, these are just all life lessons I had to learn at some point in time in my life, and oftentimes they're not for other people to learn. You know, life is just a story. It's just the dash on your freaking headstone, if you have a headstone. I have my Godsmack. I call it my racing stripe. Somehow this part got trimmed, so I'm trying to actually grow this out. Hair is such a funny thing to me. It's such a trip. Because somebody told me, I've known a lot of hairstylists, and I like them. They're nice. I like people that do things to make people feel better about themselves. I just don't understand. Anyway, I don't want to get too far into that. I gotta trim my ends. I just bought myself some fancy left-handy scissors so I can trim mom's hair. But this is, I was thinking about this. This is only like 2.5 months old. My hair is growing so freaking fast, which is weird. I must be coming balanced between my energies must be becoming balanced because I must be chilling out or something. You know, I think it's funny that they lump categories up and they put words on beans and they surmise them all in groups, you know? And like they say women have like hot flashes. How many times but ever since I was a little kid, every time I get excited about stuff, like my body flashes. I find it to be more about astrology and autonomy and biology being related than like, you know, because, and I've always known men, like, I've known men that had to walk around with hankies that were straight up, like, faucets. Just drenched. Like, they're having a hot flash? Are they going through menopause? Uh-oh. Nebraska, cold. A lot of people are having cold stuff. I saw a lot of little dogs getting shoes and stuff put on their little foots. I'm just like, oh my goodness. I'm so grateful that Sassy is looking down at this and not this is my favorite cake song. You like cake? This is how you can have your cake and eat it too. Sometimes I'll get cake. I have cake in the fridge. Maybe I'll eat cake while I listen to cake. But this is a great song. I finally saw him. I saw Cake twice. I could have been okay with seeing him once. They're one of those, once you see them, you see them, you know, and people live in loops. How many people are still going to, like these Guns N' Roses and stuff because they sat on the kitchen floor when they were 3 drinking a Pepsi out of a can with a saggy diaper, you know, while mom watched, you know, like, those are the glory days of America. And so they get tickets, spend thousands of dollars, and go see these has-beens on a stage that sold their soul, you know, like, dude, like, that did so many terrible things to young girls and stuff, because they're just, you know, boys being boys, blowing off steam, having a good time. Or maybe it's things that they did when they were under drugs or alcohol, you know. But they don't do it anymore. But they never had to pay for the damage they did. Men of Earth don't pay for carnage they cause. They sell it to us and tell us that they do it for our own good. Because that's what men do for us. I'm going to help you by not helping you. Yes. And all of that is shifting, and for that I'm grateful. I'm so excited to freaking see gardens just everywhere. Fruits and vegetables all over. Everywhere. All access Earth. Because where I live, in northern New Mexico, they're already headed that way. Because they definitely do not have the regulation. Because they're too busy building themselves $11.8 million blue bus maintenance facilities. That expense could have got everybody in Taos their own reasonably priced, economical vehicle. But no, you have to feed the system to help the people. When you ride the blue bus in Taos and you get shot at the post office. You get shot at the face at the grocery store in Taos. Hell, you got freaking people that aren't even tenants at the residence that freaking stab landlords in the ear. You have friends that hack their friends up and leave them along the side of the interstate. That's what people do in Taos. See, because it's one of those high plus it's high elevation. It's 6,969 feet. It's 6,969 feet in the sky. So people get all kinds of weird frequencies, all kinds of weird hums. They tune into all kinds of weird shit, and then it makes them go out and do weird shit. When what they should be doing is getting quiet and meditating and freaking cleansing their generational bloodlines of freaking just trash, garbage, waste. Throwing babies away. My mom was one of those babies that Cecilia Cisneros got knocked up because husband wanted to get laid on Valentine's Day. So here comes little Loretta, breach. I don't know if they fucked up her feet by grabbing her with tongs and ripping her out because they didn't want the kid anyway. They already had like 9, couldn't another mouse to feed. She's going to an orphanage, so that's what they did to my mom. And I'm just back here to remind people that you create an environment where the baby is nurtured, where somebody else in the family could have taken the baby, that would have raised the baby and given all the baby all the privileges that all the good cousins with the good feet have. So they could, grow up and be a Cuesta, bear, or whatever the little team is, and go team and be pride of community. No, she got thrown away to an orphanage, had to go to fucking El Paso, Texas, the toilet-shaped state, where she got adopted, not because they loved her, because it came with the paycheck from the state. And as soon as she turned 18, she wasn't taught how to take care of herself. She wasn't given the advantages. Her parents were going to pay for her college, retired military, pillar of the community, mayor of Silver City. Robert Yoakum never did mom a whole lot of favors by not teaching her, don't get wrapped up with dirty boys. They're going to lie to you and tell you what you want to hear. Then you're going to get knocked up like your mom did, and you're going to want to throw that baby away too. But mom had a connection with God. Mom said you don't throw babies away. So that's why she kept me and brother. She worked so hard to keep us from the Freemasons. Because I was the mistake too, just like she was. So she didn't want to do to me what her mom did to her. So she fought real hard. And so I don't want to do what everybody else in my family did to her by throwing her away, because she started in institutions. Because institutions are just bad. They're just bad. I want to make like incubator units, like, how little baby chicks have incubators where they can stay warm and grow up and stuff. So for all the babies that get thrown away, I want a place that astrologically they can thrive in. Like, we can do what their little minds need to, so even if they're mad, you can hold them and they can thrash, and you just know that there's always going to be someone there for them. Like, you get assigned a buddy in life, I try not to cry, I try. I am so compelled. This stuff is good. A rainbow machine. So I have these stickers that I give to people. So I found these at Sid, so I'm going to stash my stickers. I'm going to put like the magnet by here for people. It's one of my straight people like Rainbow's 2 thing. It's just how I can add back, because I was in the military. I'm sorry for my service, man. This country is such bullshit, man. It's such bullshit. And it's like every time, have you ever seen anybody that like had a really bad gash? Like where the fleshy part like opened up, right? Every time somebody thanks me for my service, I feel like I have this fleshy part down here that's just gaped open. And every time somebody says, thank you for your service, it's like they're taking a handful of like beef rub seasoning with all that goodness. And they're shoving it in there. And they're just rubbing it around. Thank you for your service. Thank you for we're going in places that we have no business and killing those innocent people. Thank you. And I'm just like, just don't. It's just like a drone in my head. It's just, thank you for your service. I see all the airplanes on the flight line. Thank you for your service. And I'm just like, no, please, if you know what it was, it's like DC and single parents don't have food and people are without utilities and oh my God, everybody should have a generator, but we gotta rebuild Gaza. And I'm just like, whoa, shake it off, Marge. Because you gotta stay right here because Mom's gotta get up soon. You gotta be present for her. You gotta be happy and joyful. You can't be sad. Because one of the worst hell a parent can do is, number one, see the loss of their child in the physical. And for two, see the loss of their child as they saw what they wanted their child to be. Every day Mom gets up, I get hugs. She's so grateful. She's so happy. She's so joyful. She hugs me and tells me thank you when I help her up off the toilet. After I'm done wiping her, because nobody else is going to be as kind and loving to her. And I have so much, I can do this for the whole community. So I'm trying to make a place in Taos for the throwaways, the rejects. Not where they, you got to sign in, sign out, do all this stupid shit, Just don't shit on the floor. Help me clean up, I'm going to make messes. I'm going to clean up after myself. It'd be cool if you help me, and then when you make a mess, and like people don't know how to act. I didn't know how to act when I started out in life. I was programmed largely in AA and the military. And I took the good and I left the rest because they're a bunch of fucking club hypocrites. Bullshit. I will put all the club members on blast. I used to hang out with them. I just wouldn't do what they do. Peg Martin, if you know, rest in peace, Peg. she Oh, I changed. What? Technology is flipping out. They're combining, merging all interfaces. So they're all merging. Huh. Oh well. Anyway, Peg, she invited me. I was new sober. We were leaving a meeting at Bellevue. She said, "Hey Marge, what you doing this weekend?" She talked with her through her nose. Little itty bitty lady. Reminded me of Mom, kinda. Her dad was like the Attorney General of the Air Force. Like he was a 3-star. He was like a Lieutenant General. That's 3 stars. I got to do the little thing in my head. Be my little anyway. All the privilege we never got. But she invited me to a Husker game. I said, you know what? I said, I thank you for that invitation. That's really great. I said, I'm not a football fan. I think it would be better served that it goes with somebody that would really like to go. So I've never been to a Husker game. My brother went, he was in his Husker era. He came out, I think I picked him up from a deployment in Lincoln with this Husker buddy and gave him a ride to Lincoln. He's probably a congressman at this point. Just so I could see him for a little while. My brother went to a Virginia Tech game one time. And I saw him on the screen at Chili's or whatever restaurant. And the craziest part was to get to be in that spot to see my brother on the screen where they panned across him. I drove in from small town USA to out by, I can't remember what it's called, but my buddy had a cabin on lakes out there, because lineage, privilege. And so we'd go out there and go fishing and hang out at the cabin. He and so we drove like an hour and 15 minutes in back to Omaha. So we were out by like the Oakview Mall, and we're just like, let's just stop here because we were just hungry. It's been a long day, And then he's like, oh, cool. So we walk in, and we're waiting to be seated, and my buddy goes, oh, cool, it's the Virginia Tech game. And I look up at the TV. I said, I think my brother's at that game. And then he showed up on the screen. And I said, I think that's my brother right there, as a matter of fact. And Gavin was like, really? No way, trip. Like it was nothing. And I'm just like, and then later, it had been a couple weeks, because my brother and I had a relationship back then. It was his handler that stepped in. Anyway, it's for another story. But he would verify, because his buddy, like they DVR'd the game and they were back watching it, and they're like, hey, Jerry, hey, Hessick, did you see that you were on TV? And I was just like, I can't get away from that guy. Like when you're related to people, like energetics or magnetics. Like your DNA will and we're related to colonists. Like there's this guy, Isaac Walton. It's that lineage from my grandma. She's the Western Star, the holder of all the secrets, the occult. None of those secrets never did me any good, And grandpas shouldn't be playing strip poker with their granddaughters and all that stuff and they're all registered oddly with the Like my dad wouldn't remember my birthday, but I remember like when I got in the military and they had computers, I'd just start looking people shit up. And then I'd start taking computer classes, and then I started figuring out how I could really look for shit up. Like, wow, man, when you have all access, you were to have all access. I could see things like this was early internet too. It was a lot less regulated. So you could look up, like I could put his name in, and I think I used Excite back then. Excite.com was the search bar. And I'd type his, and it'd come up with like how he donated to the Democratic Party. And then now all these years later, it's just all weird stuff. And my dad's a total misogynist. He hates women. I mean, then I watched shows like The Profiler, and I started seeing how everybody was the same. Oh my gosh. And then I tied that in together from when I was a kid. And I drew it. I'm going to go back to art, and once we get in a place that our forever home. But I have this book, and this book is hella dope. Key basics to drawing. Okay? And this book has, it has other little eggs, tidbits in it. Where's the page on it? Where's the one I'm looking at? The one I want to see the most. I can't. Oh, right here. In the world of art, there's so many shapes a face can have. A head. There's so many possibilities. Right? And yet, we're finding a lot of anomalies, because they put every being on earth with these. They just say they're human beings. We are so much more than that. And I just saw 4444. We are so much more vast. We are our souls. My soul is connected to my past. And on my past, Or on my mom's side, it's about taking care of family, how they didn't. And then on my dad's side, it's about how nepotism took care of the wrong assholes, and the women got shit on over here too. So I got these two bloodlines, and I gotta fucking be like, you suck, you suck. I can't be any part of the bad parts of this bloodline, and I can't be any parts of the bad parts of this bloodline. Unfortunately, I do live in Taos. My mother was thrown away from Cuesta to Crucelia Cisneros. So this nose, I'm surrounded by this face, I see it everywhere. So I feel compelled that it's important that I be kind and loving to everyone, because they probably are my cousin. For fucking real. But these people are so shitty to me. They're fucking shitty to me in Taos. I have never done a fucking thing to warrant the justification of how shitty it was when Denise Blanco threatened to kill the 22 cats that she had me fall in love with and feed for the year and a half as I lived in the trailer and paid her good money before she asked, so she could threaten to shoot them all. Or then my landlord, Melinda Gonzalez, with her shit stain on the fucking fabric of society. Mikey with Amber Brown, his shit-stained sister, that I had to tolerate. They would make demonic fucking snowmen in my yard and put bloody masks on them and be out there and be like, and I'd be like, oh, look, Mom, we're bringing them together. Brother, sister are playing. They're 39 and 40 years old. I wonder where their kids are. Oh, they don't speak to them because they're junkies and drunks. You know, but go ahead and try and make the lady that takes care of her mom that, you know, traveled to this shithole to live under these conditions so she can keep her dogs. They don't know what loyalty is. They don't know what sacrifice is. They just drink and do too many drugs and ride their Harleys and do their bike runs and go to their fucking car shows year in and year out, and machismo this and machismo pride my man this and pride that. And it's like all over Facebook every day I see women hustling to sell their shit because the man just can't cut it. He just can't provide. Then he drinks too much and then he feels bad. Because he starts thinking about all the generations of men in his line that just can't they just can't get it up to be a man anymore. So they beat the women, they fucking shoot the kid, beat the kid, kick the dog, whatever. That's what New Mexico is, generationally. I'm glad to see it change. These new kids, man, these new kids are rad. I'm so excited for these new generations. I hope I have an opportunity. The lady that I know, when I get my, I'm going to go out in the community and feed the community, the hungry folks. I'm going to go, hey, Bonnie, what do you want today? You want a steak sandwich? You know, well, you got to think about dental issues and what they can eat. Like, make her a nice bowl. Make her the pancakes that I make her. She can't ever get a meal like that at the Bent Street Grill, but everybody knows who she is. So I'll go down and make her I'll smash it like I do Mom. I know how to take care of people. I've been taking care of Mom for years. Smash up, got a bag. Anyway, I'm going to go out and feed the community. More than pizza. They got to do, if we got to make people live on the street, we got to at least help give them the nourishment to find. I'm going to get just ingredients from Sid's. I'm going to talk to the owners and the managers and be like, hey, dude, I got this kitchen. Come out and see it. I'm going to go out and feed the community. You want to be associated with what I'm doing? You want to endorse each other? You want to give out my stickers to people sometimes and just help me spread my mission of inclusion? Because I don't want nobody to feel like they ever been thrown away. Because I have been time and time again, and it fucking sucks. So, I'm excited for the future. It's been a long time since I've been excited for the future. Because I was in anticipatory grief for years. you know, because I have an imagination that is just, oh my God. But I've done so many of the things that I imagine doing. Like at some point, I was sitting there drinking too much, and I was telling people for like months, one day I'm going to go in the military. And now I am 20 years on the other side of honoring that 6-year commitment. My body's falling apart. Sometimes I feel like my brain, like it's only running on like 4 cylinders and I had 8. You know, as long as I keep laughing and not just sit there and be sad about stuff, you know. There's too many people sit there crying in their beer from fucking shit that, and I'm just still trying to make life better for other people while maintaining a level of comfortability within myself. I woke up, I did a set this morning of 300 with my dumbbells, and I'm like, man, I hate exercising. I don't like it. I don't like to exercise. What I do like is the benefits of how much better I feel after I exercise. That I like, but actually doing it, I don't like it. I don't like standing there and lifting and doing that, and I don't like it. But I know I don't. People are getting so crazy out there. Like, they're not tuned in I'm tuned into like peace, here's a sticker, and I'm surrounded by people that are tuned in by like stabbing people in the, like, that's nuts. That is what crazy is to me. People go, oh, you're crazy, Margie. My whole life people are like, you're crazy. I'm like, no. Crazy is when you're 13 years old and you read a police report about a baby and you learn about words like penetration at 10 months old, and then you realize that report is about you, and that's all right, because that's why your hip pops like that when you go to gym class and do those, you know. And then there's industries that are built on it, on creepy pervs, and when they're done doing what they're doing, they're just, you know, in the kid, go on their way. There's plenty of more kids. There's all kinds of kids in orphanages and CPS. There's kids every place. Every time there's natural disaster, there's more kids to take. That's why, oddly find it interesting that when Katrina was happening, that's when I was washed my hands of the pageantry of America, and that's the contrived reality of how Washington D.C. and Hollywood, they're the same. They have the same budgets. They all exist to get people to believe America great, never do nothing bad. And then Obama freaking doesn't help us. What does he do? Goes right down to Haiti, though. They had some sort of earthquake, we're always helping people over there. We're always helping them over there. It's over there. We got to say, oh, sorry you're starving over here, America. Don't be selfish, little kid. Don't be selfish that, you know, like people are raising money to pay off. What is that? I had free lunch. That was oftentimes the only meal we had. Because my dad was Freemasons, they had all the privilege and whatever they could do to use their power to make people miserable. And that is what America is, and I'm fucking sick of it. They've already, like, limited my fun, like, you know, like, for a long time I was living on next to nothing. And then the earth gave me an earth angel, because what happens is, you got people that are of God, good orderly direction, right? They're just out here and they're just like, okay, I'm not going to do porn. I'll just be a good person. I won't beat people up and rob them and cheat them and steal them to make myself advantage. I'll do all these things to stay connected to you that tells me not to do these things. In a world where everybody else is getting advantage from doing these things. Right? So so I prayed, right? I was in Flagstaff. I was down and out. I was circling the drain. I said, God, I know you're going to make this right. I just don't know how. And then some stranger on the internet watched my YouTube video and said, honey, I want to help you. And she explained how her dear sweet husband just died. And she just found out that she could gift people, and she And she felt so bad about losing her husband, she was just writing checks to people. So she wrote me a check for $15,000. And I was like, okay, that's all I need, God. I can handle the rest. And I think about everybody else in the world that's in a bad way. And all they need is like $5,000. That's all they need. It's like $5,000. And they're fucking in the clear. Like, they don't have to worry about things anymore. And then I think about another Dubai and God, and I'm just like, these fucking pretentious butt buddies, they're still playing their stupid fucking strategio risk reindeer games, stacking the deck. You know, I'm the machismo. Look at all the stuff I can do, and it's all bullshit because that creates a lower echelon of poverty, and they don't care about those people. So so I don't look at like, see, people keep talking about the pole flip, and I just see circumstances in people's lives in which they've dedicated their connection to source. Their life is going to go from being from the disadvantage to the advantage. That is like the pole flip. Like the butt buddies that have been on top. Like I see this year, everybody's talking about the year of the horse, year of the horse. Okay, to me and the way I'm gathering my data and my collection points, I'm seeing it's a year that a whole bunch of people get on their horse and they're up here and they're all high. And that horse is like, not anymore, bitch, fuck you. And starts bucking. And a lot of people get knocked off their high horse. That's what I see. Because latitudes and longitudes are just earth grids of frequency, and we are assigned to these frequencies based on the latitude and longitude of us energetically. That's what I look at people's time of birth. That's their latitude and longitude. Like that is what they are, and how they navigate through earth with that energy imprint. I get ignored a lot. I tell people my birthday, time, everything. So hi, I'm Marge. It's like a handshake to me. Hi, I'm Marge. Here I am. Wanna help me help some people? Evidently, they don't. They're too busy writing books and shit like that. Stuff to feed their ego. Whatever people do stuff to chase sensations, make themselves more glorified, things like that. That's fine. Do that. It's important to keep the balance of the congruence of yourself. That's why I want to do my outboard kitchen and go make, hungry people fucking gourmet. I've been watching Emerald Lagasse. I've been cooking fucking rad food forever because I like to go out and eat. Mom don't like, so I like to bring what I experience out in the world to Mom. So Mom gets to experience life through me. That's why I take so many pictures. And have so much social media. I'm sharing it all with her so she can experience life, because she don't really like to go out no more. But she likes the adventures she likes to be a part of. And there's so many viable minds out here. I want to see the Aspies that like to play video games and stuff like that. Like, you can play 20 minutes, but then, you gotta stop and focus, and take care of grandma. You know what I mean? Like, there's so many people that are trainable and teachable to take care of people. Because we're already disassociated, Like, I never had to change a lot of diapers. And, I understand, when you eat, the food process, because we drew pictures of it when I was in elementary, how it goes, and, your endocrine system, and that's your largest organ, and when you eat, you toxify through your skin. I understand so many of these things. And then when I was in the military, they had to learn all about diet and exercise, because they put me on the chunky chicken club, because my whole life, control freaks have been putting me in my place. But the thing of it is I would always exceed their expectation, and I would blow their minds. I'd be like, I'll do your stupid request, and then I'll up you and show you that I'm better than what you're asking for, you little bitch. That's what So many people, there's so many veterans. There's this place, they got rad pastries, it's called Frakes. I like to drive Mom up to Cuesta sometimes. I'll do it again as soon as we get the bourbon all squared away soon. But we haven't been up there, but they have a wall of veterans. I want to print my picture off and then take them in there and print them off and be like, introduce myself, you know. This is Cristelia Cisneros' long lost daughter. I'm her daughter, and I'm back to say that all you guys sat around talking about what you did over there and how bad you felt and drank beer about it for 20 years, and it's all bullshit because I was there and I saw how it's bullshit too. But see, they bended the knee and went towards the ego, the maniacal, the power, the system, the industrial military complex. This is the industrial military complex. This is the industrial military complex. It goes from this, it goes from that. Look at this little face. This is me. I was wasted. I was drunk. I was in Wichita Falls, Texas. I was walking from the base to Walmart. We would cross interstates and cut through, because I just read a map. I said, let's just go this way. So we're in the military. We can do whatever we want. This is what the industrial military complex is. And then it gets like this. I'm like, man, I can't believe there's so many people that don't have what they need in America, but they got all this shit. I just can't believe it. See the orb? See the orb in there? I always had these little guardians, right? Here's another. This is the industrial mill. Look, this is Humvees. This is 4 years before. See all of them? All those are all Humvee. I get triggered in normal population because people drive Humvees because they saw what the soldiers drive, so I want to drive what they drove, or maybe they drove one and they want to be reminded of how they got to decimate shit in places we had no business, because they're part of the program too, and it's also gross and disingenuous because thou shalt not kill. You definitely shouldn't be making money off people killing. I knew people that made money off recording people's AA talks. They record people and then they'd sell them. And I'm like, isn't it supposed to be anonymous? But they created conferences. So it wasn't AA, it was outside AA, but you're still profiting on. And then they had like the rock stars of AA. Oh, did you? And they just in the early 2000s, these narcissists would just go around and hunt for prey for young women. Bobby Coyle was one of them. It's okay though, because they're married now. But it's just what predators do, military do. It's like, that's why we have bases everywhere, so they can do whatever ritual they want. All it is ritual. Every time I had to stand there like this, it's them sucking my life force and keeping me focused on their stupid bullshit when I got 86s to round robin on the flight line. Like, I have a job to do, and they siphon people's life, and they just waste their time and redirect them. And that's what the military is. And then they don't have people that, like, have the mindset to put it all together. Because what I've come to realize is, you know that mockingbird or looking glass, right? I was at Offutt. That's where I was. So when you're at a place, you get the inner. I'm a psychic intuitive. I could find out what, like, the history of a place just by hanging out there. I was all over Offutt. You know, it's all a set. Little soldiers, we're all just playing war, and then we practice playing war. So then we go over there and we play war over there. It looks real good because we pretended over. It's all. It's all like football, how they have books of plays. Books of plays. America has those too. If this, then that. If we do this, then we can say they do that. If we say they did this, then we can. That's what 9/11 was about. If we make this building collapse, we can get the whole world to believe that these men did it in a cave, because algorithm of the cave just tell them, they did it, and then we can just go create havoc for no reason for 20-something years and pay ourselves tax-free, while we're bringing home $15K a month, the officers do. Now they go over there, they pay themselves tax-free hazardous duty. They get extra pay for being in a hazardous place when we are the hazard. Because other people over there trying to live their fucking lives. Here comes fucking America. Boom, 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 boom. Because they don't, so they go back home and what? They don't have to eat Viagra the first time they see their wife. But then they're reminded of all the stupid bullshit they did. Then they gotta start eating Viagra again. Because mind over matter. They don't feel like men. Or, there's so many gay wads in the military. Gay while away. I learned about that in the 90s. Long before because I thought the military was, I believe, like it was this straight edge thing because my brother was in it, and then I started seeing how he was playing a character, and I was like, oh dear God. Oh dear God. I get what they mean by all the world is a stage. The military is about producing all the outfits. About getting outside Wichita Falls, there's a little company, Choctaw Nation or something, that gets a whole laundry list every week of measurements, and then they put the measurements in a computer, and then they print them all. They print all the clothes up for all the little outfits, and then a few weeks later you gotta go back and try them on and stuff like that. Or did we just have, or no, you put stuff on, you had them altered there, and then you take them off to have it altered. But still, those clothes are made by a company. And that is all the industrial military complex. All of it. There is a guy, the car show world. When I was 16, I had a friend, she was 18. I could go anywhere, do whatever I wanted. Maybe I was 15 when we first started hanging out. Anyway, she was into bugs, Volkswagen. So I got heavily immersed into the Volkswagen culture. Fastbacks, squarebacks, notchbacks. Her dad did all kinds of shit. And we go down to Sears Point and go to Bugaramas. And I get a t-shirt that says, "This is your brain." And it had like a Volkswagen Classic, and "This is your brain on drugs," and it was like a lowrider. Like, it was like this whole bug culture, right? Like, we go to Sacramento, car shows, we go here. I've been to all these things, and right? But I left that stuff back there. And people have been immersed in these cultures and perpetuating these same events year after year ever since then, in the 80s. And that's what their lives are. While there's people out here like me, with a mom that they're just trying to keep healthy and happy and joyful under circumstances that are really not set up. America is not set up for people to thrive with a loved one that has special needs. I've known that my whole life. I've always paid attention. Like, I go to AA meetings and I watch the signer. I love watching the signers, right? And I watch the people receiving the data that the signers. I'd always sit where I get a clear shot of both of them, and that's how I listen. Right? Hey, pretty girl. But I've always been very highly receptive of what other people need to be comfortable in life, because I've been around people that, are wheelchair bound, like, I just got Mom one of these. And this lady, Carrie and Michelle, I think they're at the Mayo Clinic now. One of them is sick. And I put on their page, I said, I got Mom one of these, because inside It has a cover and it comes with the second one. It has one of these on it because Mom sits. And it helps older people or people, not even young people. You know, I hate to even offer it as guidance, but even for people that sit on their ass too much playing video games, it's just for extended, you know, just so you don't get sores. Because old people, they don't shift, they don't move. Mom shifts, she moves. She sits in her chair, she gets up, she walks, you know, she does stuff to keep her heart, you know. I'm not, Mom's good, huh, Mom? You good, Mom? I think she went back to sleep. But she's happy, man. 75 years old and gone through hell. And she's still so joyful. And I don't even know if God, I'm 52. So I add 20 plus years on top of that makes me want to cry. Because it could go two ways. See, it could go two ways. We could have the Terminator way. We could go that way if people go too much in their ego and want too much convenience and are willing to put chips in their hands and in their heads because it's just easier to swipe it than it is to pull a card out of your wallet. Or we could go the other way where there's gardens every place and there's fucking weed everywhere and there's and then there's medicine, there's people, everywhere I live, I am so blessed. Taos is such a beautiful place to drive up, and there's mullein everywhere. There's mullein, and it's such a beautiful plant. And I get to share with people. They tell me stuff like, they're trying to quit smoking, and I say, hey, you get some mullein tea. Sometimes I should keep mullein tea with me. So when I have here, take this. You want to cleanse your lungs? You take mullein tea. It cleans. You want to stop smoking? You want to degauze your breathing system? This will do it. I learned a long time ago. I think it's funny. I work real hard to stay on this planet. And I got to be honest with you. There's a lot of days that I don't want to be on this planet. So that's why I lift those little dumbbells, because it's a testimony. Okay, God, I still want to be here. I'm doing the right thing. I want to take care of my body so I can have the strength and the connection that's viable to you, that I can charge myself up so I can take care of Mom too, because she is why I'm here. And after she goes off to the Rainbow Bridge in the no place space, and I have no earthly bound responsibilities, I likely will end up like fucking Sylvester Stallone in Rambo, only I'm Marge, and go off and just live on a mountain someplace where I won't bother the world no more, where I won't have to go to the grocery store no more, where I don't gotta be a part of having to explain that I am trying to be a peaceful being because I have been to war. And I don't want these little kids flying drones, dropping bombs, because they will die with that karma of taking lives in the name of bullshit and the fraternal order of butt stuff. And those are words that I stand by. So I think I'm going to go out and shovel some snow on the sidewalks across the road. Say some prayers and set some heartfelt intention out that people that are cold, that they keep the fire burning. Because help's coming. I'm trying to pull resources together to make a place where fucking people are they're gonna want to come and just let their body get better. Because your body has to get better before your mind is going to get right. I am a testimony to that. And then if people like what I have to offer in the community, maybe they'll come here and visit and they'll see how I do stuff. I'll invite people in other communities, come to see how it's done. Marge does it. And maybe I can plant some seeds and they can do something like that. And, and I can help them something like create my heart space where they live. And then, so there's always a safe place for people with domestic violence situations. They just have to leave. They can go because I'm tired of freaking reading stories in Taos about girls getting run over by their fucking pissed off boyfriends and these little fucking shit stains that are so mad because they got little peckers and they gotta get drunk and get mad about it. And then the women are reminded that them that they are lesser men. They snap, and then another life lost. Or it's the other way, because there's lots of domestic violence, women against men too. It's just keep your hands to yourself, and then people don't gotta die, But people are. I want to make a place all in like. I gotta be mindful of my words. It will be a referral. Well, it's a loose referral system. Like, I don't want. If people can't draw a dry breath, then this maybe isn't the place for you, but I'm not going to turn people away because I am an alcoholic. And so if I can help people not do that or just show them a different way of living, that's all I want to do, is because I lived all of those ways and I saw the consequences of if I would have continued the trajectory of every single one of those bad habits, those character defects. If I would have stayed in that trajectory, they all would have ended up with me not being here with Mom, about to get her up out of bed to make her oatmeal. All of them. None of them would have gotten us back to where she was born, which incidentally is one of the safest places on the whole entire planet. So thanks, Mom's DNA, for getting to us to one of the safest places in the whole US of A. That's pretty rad. That's something I need to acknowledge more as a blessing, honestly. Like, I mean, I talk a lot of trash. I try to equally talk good things too. So that's why I try to support things in the local community. I haven't met this person yet. Use code STAYNICE for 10% off. Haven't looked up, but anyway, because I like sticker people. Because I'm a sticker people. I got my sticker. And so I'm very aware when I walk through town, you see, like, I'm looking at the stickers. I'm looking at, like, the like-minded, the same frequency that all landed us here that gets our vibe on this pole, right? So I got so I want to see what the person that came from this heart space is. 6969 Taos. So they sell my stickers at Taos Canyon Flower Shop Cannabis. And that's where they sell. They got patches and stuff. I want to see where they get their patches from. I'm looking for an embroiderer. I would love to do all this shit myself. See, I want to have a place where, like, people can gather and hang out, and then come up with collective ideas to go use their energy when everybody's all amped, like. I see on social media, there's so many people that get up and they just make coffee and just talk to the internet like I'm doing here. So use that energy to talk about where you're going to gather. Like, I want to have like metaphysical events in Taos and invite people that live down the road, like Greg Braden. He's right down there. He talks. I missed him. I almost saw him up the road at the local holy community place. I'd invite Ben. He's up the road in Colorado. People like to come to Taos, and I have a way to throwing away good parties. I throw a good party. I'm April 9th. I'm an Aries. It's about gathering, coming together. And I think it would be cool to have, like, hook people up with accommodations of places. Because I don't travel out. We go for drives and stuff, but Mom don't. It's not that time. We're supposed to stay close to home and learn the land from which Mom was born, and so we, but I want to invite, like, so I see a convention in Taos with, like, great astrologers. My panel would be like Aubrey Stars, right? Like she would have her own because she is one of the most talented, and plus she's Gemini, and she's blah, 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 blah. And I can relate to her because of my 12th house Gemini shit. And blah, 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 blah. But we're very cognizant that we're just blah, 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 blah. And then, like, Molly McCord, right? Because these are all women that I share the same heart space with, because not only are they freaking badass astrologers, is that they're trying to do what they can do so that they can keep doing what they're doing comfortably while raising young men that aren't going to feel inferior by a strong woman. They're going to recognize them and be like, yeah, that's cool. That's like my, without it getting weird. Yeah, it's okay. Like Molly McCord, and then other social, like I could have Stay Up from TikTok. He could come out and bring the whole family. See what Taos is like see, because I see a future for it that is just a lot more inclusive, because people are here, it's just so outsider, but we're shifting to a point that it's like there's more outsiders than there are always been here. But I want to make a place, like, if people want to do theater, that we have a place for the arts. Also, encourage the same people, because the way I look at it, you know who artists are? Excavators. How they move the earth to make it flat, so the concrete pourers can come in and make it complete, and they put walls up that make so you pour it like this and congruent, and I don't got the math skills to do it, but other people to do, and then they make it flat, and then you have people that put up walls, and then they have places where people can gather just to hang out and have a good time until the storms pass. Kind of like God always intended is kind of how I look at it. Life is brutal, right? We're supposed to just take care of each other is how I see it. Lead by example, it's what I was always taught. Marge, they're not going to do shit unless they see somebody else doing shit. So you might as well get up and go do some shit. And then they'll see, hey, if this bitch can do some shit, maybe I can do some shit too. And I've been doing it ever since I was a little kid. I was always the first one out on the dance floor. At weddings, whenever they played music, I crashed a wedding I didn't know I wasn't invited to, and my brother was terribly embarrassed. See, I was such a free spirit. People that don't have souls and don't have spirits, and they are inclined and have the propensity to control and dominate, they're the ones that have no soul. They don't want to draw attention, and I'm over here, it's like, hey, why do you want to draw attention? What are you hiding? Why don't you want to, and like, I can't do anything about not being able to see my niece and being shut out of her life. I can absolutely have nothing. I can't do anything about my sister-in-law making me unfollow her from her private Instagram account. I can't do anything about it. What I can do is I can periodically, go out in the world, and I can do things like I'm gonna make the rainbow wagon out of my Suburban. This thing is the apocalypse wagon, right? And me and Mom, we're gonna drive around and see. We're gonna do so many kind and loving acts and generous acts of kindness, randomly planned, whatever in this thing. We're gonna fill this apocalypse wagon with love, and then in 10 years, when she's 18. I can fill this thing with all the stuff that I got her for any occasion. I got her stuff for her birthday, just because I'm thinking about like all this stuff, and then I can have all these stories about what me and Grandma Retta did in this, and it was so fun. And we went in all these pictures, and just like if I die, she can have access to my entire social media identity if she wants it, Or I have other nieces, like I have young women and men in my bloodline behind me that I am trying to make a place better for, that isn't like the Terminator. So, because they're women and they're, and I don't want. I don't want nothing bad to happen to them like happened to their mom from living like that. So I'm trying to make a safe space, but in their mind, I'm just the crazy aunt, Marge. I'm trying to get people to write me letters of recommendation that I've known that whatever. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I don't really get too hung up on potentials on how, like, because there's so many different ways that things can end up. The only thing that makes me sad is when we all die trying. Is the same as that's it. Is that we all die trying. Is that we all die, and when you have a heart as big as mine, and you get connected to so many things in loving in ways, loving, intimate, non-sexual ways, it freaks people out. And so, when you love things, everything is a heartbreak waiting to happen. Animals, people, because it's like I started figuring out is in relation to anticipatory grief. I came to the realization recently that, like, energetically it changed me. I was in such a heightened state for years. 4 years I took my dogs out. 4 dogs, and Sassy hasn't been here for like 2 years now. She left the same year Jessica lived. I lost 2 sisters. Mom's dog, I lost 2 sisters that year. It was a rough, like, I don't know. I know a lot about loss. So you just love things, but we learn to have parties. And we talk about heaven. We're not afraid to talk about death and heaven. Like, I'm always telling Luna, like, I know I'm playing tug of war with you, sweetie pie. I know your honey bear want you to go to, he want to kiss your pretty face and stuff like that. I know that, because all of my animals, they all have their own personalities, so they all have their own voices. And I wouldn't just do these. We all were fully entertained by Minnie's antics for years, because I'm always narrating, So when the animal passes, it's like, that, it's like that story stops. And I recently come to find out, I'm going to keep that story going. So Benny always barks in my head, and he's always here in spirit. Because I remember that movie, The Frighteners, and that's how energy works, and they're my protectors from the other side, just like, Amy is, and just like my sister Jessica, like I could sleep good at night because I don't have to worry, because I have all this. I have a big old bubble of love and protection. That's why I'm trying to do all this stuff with the car. So, my niece turns 18, she can have it, and she's fully protected because we did a bunch of loving, kind things in it, is what my goal is. Are you starting to wake up, Mom? You just want to stay asleep? You just listen to me? It's almost 11. Do you want to get up? Huh? Are you warm enough? Are you getting hungry? Are you getting hungry? All right, I'm gonna get going. Shift gears. Get ready for my responsibilities. 8828. That's what I got for now. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you have a rad day.